What's up, guys? God's Elite back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Bungie's live stream yesterday on all the Age of Triumph activities. I'm kind of excited. There's a lot to do. I hope that it will last months to come, but we'll just have to wait and see. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all the weekly activities and things you can do. We're going to start with weekly Crucible, and if you're looking at your map on Destiny, or if you remember what it looks like, which is the bottom left corner, we're going to work our way to the right to the weekly featured raid. Before I talk about the weekly Crucible, I do want to talk about the fact that Bungie brought up a lot about how many legendary marks we're going to get every single week from playing the game. And so I'm assuming we're getting some new gear, specifically vendor gear. That way we have something to spend it on. Now, this is not confirmed. We'll find this out next week. But the fact that they're giving us so many, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I feel like we're getting some new gear somewhere where you have to spend legendary marks. Because currently, I haven't had to spend legendary marks in a long time. Not since I had to get to 400, and that's been a while. So I'm not really worried about it too much, but it would be cool to have some new gear. Alright, so weekly Crucible is the same as it's always been. It's one thing, one game type, whether it be Mayhem, Clash, Control, Zone Control, whatever, it doesn't matter. One thing for a whole week, and then it switches each week. Now you're going to be getting an age or treasure of ages, which is similar to all the other treasures we've had in the past. It's just now you get one for Age of Triumph, and it gives you quite a good bit of stuff, and we'll talk about that probably in another video. You also get 10 legendary marks for playing it too, so there's your first thing of legendary marks. But as far as that, the only other new thing about it is each week the weekly featured Crucible game type will be a Shaxx bounty. So Shaxx now has two bounties. One will be the weekly featured game mode, and then the other will just be something else you play in Crucible for those that don't want to play the weekly. So if one of Shaxx's control, is going to be taking control on the weekly featured. So that's pretty neat, because because a lot of people play that, so sometimes it's hard to get games in the regular game types because people aren't playing it. So it's taken me a long time to beat Shaxx bounties before because nobody's playing. Alright, so moving on up from that, you've got your daily missions. We no longer have a daily Crucible anymore. They've replaced it with some new stuff. So for daily missions now, used to what would happen is you would have a mission every single day that was different. And it would be for whatever thing you were doing then. So like you'd have original Destiny during Destiny, vanilla Destiny. You would have Taken King when we had Taken King. Now you have Rise of Iron, different things like that. And you might have a few other ones scattered here and about, but most of the time it's pretty general, whatever content you're playing at the time, whether it be Taken King or vanilla or Rise of Iron. So now what they're doing is every day you can play multiple different kinds of missions, and there's modifiers. So we haven't had modifiers in daily missions since Queen's Wrath, which was before I even started playing Destiny, so I didn't even know what it was anyways. But now we've got modifiers like Specialist and different things like that to make it harder and funner at the same time, just depending on which ones they are. So the first week, I think they said that we're going to have I think he said Mars and Venus missions. So you'll have different sets. So Mars and Venus will be a set that you can play from one week. And then the next week they might have Earth and Moon, or Dark Below and House of Wolves together, or Taking King and Rise of Iron, or splitting them up. It just depends. So every single week you're going to get to play a different type of story from Destiny, and I think that's really cool. It's going to make it a lot of fun to play with friends, I think, and to play them. So you've got to do 5 to complete the first part of the quest for Age of Triumph that you get from the speaker. So I'm probably going to dive right into that as soon as it comes out that Tuesday morning. So I might get on there and see if you guys want to play some story missions on all 3 of my characters, so that way I can kind of keep them where they need to be. Also, you get now, instead of I don't remember how the legendary marks were before, but now if you play 5 story missions, you get 20 legendary marks apiece. So that's 100, right? So that's a lot of legendary marks. So if you've got 200 and you do all 5 of them that Tuesday, you're not going to be able to. They're going to be for nothing because you're not going to be able to store anymore. So I'm hoping we have some new vendor gear that we can buy. Also, let's see. Yeah, I explained the different types. Next, oh yeah, you also get a Treasure of Ages. So there's your second one for the week. So you can get 3 total for the week. We'll talk about the third one as we move along. But moving on from the daily missions, now next you have Siva Crisis Heroics. So from here on, things, we're just going about how we normally would. We haven't gotten to anything super game changing as far as new activities. We're just changing some things about stuff we already have. So now we've got Siva Crisis Heroics. There's nothing different about it. It's pretty much the same. It's just a stepping stone to get towards the raid for those of us who maybe aren't 400 yet. So for Siva Crisis Heroics, you're going to get 1 Treasure of the Dawning. That's your 3rd one right there. So you can at least get a ton of loot from that each week, from old things that have gone by, Festival of the Lost, Dawning, things like that, and some of the new ornaments and things that we're getting in the coming update with Age of Triumph for the new, or not new weapons, but for like the Vex Mythic class, Lord of Wolves, things like that. We'll talk about that in another video as well. So that's your 3rd treasure, and then if you do 3 strikes, that's 30 legendary marks. So we're already at 140 legendary marks, I believe. So that's a bunch of legendary marks. But that's pretty much it for Siva Crisis Heroics. There's not really much anything else that they've changed to it. They didn't really change anything at all, except for the treasure you get from it. After that, you have the Nightfall. And the Nightfall is the same as it's always been, 380. There might be some new rewards, but we won't learn about that till next week. But the biggest change to it is a new modifier called Daybreak. So I assumed that it was going to be a strike playlist, but instead is a modifier that will be on the Nightfall every now and then. Like the first week it's going to be on the Nightfall, but then it might not the next week or the week after that. But they did say from I think July or June, I think it's July through August, every single week we'll have the Daybreak modifier. So it'll be a lot of fun to play. But basically what Daybreak is it's the epic modifier, which makes all the enemies harder, more heavily armored enemies, shielded enemies, aggressive enemies, and in greater numbers. But it also adds mayhem to it. So we're adding mayhem and epic together to get Daybreak. And mayhem basically means that our grenades and melees and supers are going to recharge at a much faster rate. If you're watching, they've been doing a ton of supers up in the corner. I'm pretty much playing the Nightfall as I'm talking next to my head. So Nightfall supers are going to be crazy. You're going to be able to do Stormcaller for days, tether everything, orbs everywhere. I think a new challenge could probably be how many orbs can you create in one Nightfall. That'll be pretty cool. I mean, you could make your points soar just by using supers on enemies. So I think it's going to be pretty awesome to see. But other than that, that's really the only new thing we know right now for Nightfall. It's pretty exciting, I'm not going to lie. I'm excited that I'm going to be able to throw endless hammers, tethers, and electrocute anything that I possibly want to. Moving on from that, the newest activity that we have, we learned about the raid last week. So the newest activity we have is Challenge of Elders. It's going to be a node right there next to the weekly feature raid, next to the Nightfall. It is the exact same Challenge of Elders that we've played before. The only difference is that it's now 390 and it's on the main selection page. So when you select it, you still have to go get a card from Varix like you always would and play through it. But they said that the rewards are very generous. So for those of you who aren't 400, this is now an in-game activity that will get you up to 400 light. So you're going to be able to jump back into it. If you don't have 6 friends, if you only got 3 total you can get in there, play it, and get yourself to 400. So you can play that up to 3 times and get 30 legendary marks, or as many times as you want during the week. And you can also, let's see, I think that's probably it though. Yeah, 30 legendary marks for 3 runs. So you've already got the 100 for the dailies, 10 for the weekly Crucible, 30 for the Siva Crisis Heroics, and then 30 for the Challenge of Elders. And then the modifiers and stuff for it change each week as well. There's nothing new as far as that goes. And then finally, we've got the weekly featured raid, which we learned about last week. All the old raids are coming up to 390. If you play them normally through the week, like you go to the moon or Venus or wherever and you select the raid, you can play it at 390 and get rewards from it that are 390. You just won't get the weekly featured rewards. So if you play the weekly featured raid, you're going to be able to complete all the challenges during the raid. So that's a ton extra loot right there. So if you're doing King's Fall, you're going to be able to do the War Priest, Golgoroth, and Oryx challenge all in that same run. Get all that loot as well as the new loot that we're going to be getting from the game. You're also going to be able to get ornaments for your new King's Fall gear and your Vault and Crota gear, and as well as a new ornament for your Siva gear in Wrath of the Machine. There are going to be 2 ornaments for each raid. So you'll be able to get that cool stuff. Also, let's see what else. There was something else. Oh, we now have confirmed that Crota is going to have a Crota challenge and a Deathsinger challenge. So that's really exciting. So I can't wait to see what the Templar, Atheon, Crota, and Deathsinger challenges will look like for us. I think it's going to be hard, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to try to get those up to you the first week. Hopefully everybody will figure them out. But if you do all that, you'll get a ton of awesome loot at 400. And if you're already 400, everything you get will be 400, period. So you don't have to worry about that. So I'm excited to get my Fatebringer back at 400. I'm excited to get Vision of Confluence at 400. I'm excited to get Hunger of Crota at 400. Everything. Vex Mythoclast, Necrochasm, all that stuff at 400 is so exciting to me. So the only problem is vault space. Now I currently have 50 something exotic Ingrams, which I'm going to open after Age of Triumph just to see if we get anything new. And after that I'll actually have a good bit of space, and if we're actually getting Fatebringer with Arcburn coming up, then I'll be able to delete all my old raid stuff, and that'll give me a ton of extra space too. So I think it might work out in the end. But pretty much that's it. I think that'll be enough to keep us busy for a little while. I don't know if it'll keep us busy the whole time until Destiny 2, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you do want to get all the ornaments on all your characters for all the raids, then you'll be playing this way into Destiny 2, because you're not going to be able to get a ton of them each week for all your characters. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments. So you can get up to like close to around 200 legendary marks a week, at least from the weekly activities. You can get 3 treasures of the ages, which will give you all kinds of new stuff, as well as stuff from old events. I know you can go to the silver kiosk and get those if you want using your old silver. Now silver will not go into Destiny 2, so if you need to buy something, go ahead and go do it. Let's see, new challenge of elders 390, same as everything else though, and then weekly feature raid 390. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. I'm looking to have a lot of fun that Tuesday. I'm gonna be off work, so I'll be playing all day hopefully. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment below, let me know what's your favorite thing that's going to be happening in this new update. I'm super excited for Crota's End that first week. It's going to be so much fun figuring out what those challenges are. Subscribe for more Destiny content. I'll keep you up to date on all the latest Destiny and Destiny 2 news, as well as all these new activities that we're going to be playing that first week. And then you can follow me on my socials here at the end if you want to. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your week and day, and I will see you in the next video.